Hi there, it's Jen, and thanks for joining me. Today is a beautiful day in Arizona, even though it's almost 100. Um, but I sat outside and watched my boys play in the pool and tried to edit this video. I made two cards for this video using the scrapbook.com stamp set called Mid-Century Florals. I absolutely love this stamp set. It is so cute. And I'm also using some Bombay India ink, and I'm using them as watercolors. So what I'm going to do is take the India ink and put it on a piece of plastic packaging. And then I will take my a baby aspirator and put some water into that. And I could have probably just taken my paintbrush and watered it down. I don't know why I didn't do that. And then I'm going to get some of that ink on my stamp. So this stamp set is a two-part. You can put just the petal part, and then there's like another layer that you can put on that gives it a little more of a design, I guess. So I'm just spreading the ink out. And then I will go ahead and stamp with this color. I believe this is golden yellow. And I got these from Michael's with the 60% off coupon a while ago. And I actually got both the sets with a 60% off coupon. The watercolors, the Dr. P.H. Martin's watercolors are a little expensive. And so I opted to go with the India ink. The difference with the India ink is that it is permanent in that you cannot really pick up color once it's dried. Like watercolor, you can kind of work with it. India ink is, you can't work with it after it's dry or move the color around. It's permanent. So once it's there, it's there. So here I'm doing the second flower, and then I'm going to do a circle flower in the tangerine. And sometimes the ink settles at the bottom of these bottles, and so I haven't used them in a while. Some of the colors are better than others, but not really an issue with these colors, but I shook them up anyhow. So again, this is a tangerine. I go ahead and ink that up, and then I add a little bit of the magenta and the golden yellow with my paintbrush just to get a little more color on there. And I love this technique. It is so like flowy, I guess. I don't know if that's a word, but I just love the way it turns out. I like watercolors anyhow, so I think anything watercolor I'd probably be like, oh, that's just wonderful. So then I'm going to take I just took a piece of cardstock. I should have used like Bristol or a piece of watercolor paper because it bends the paper a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe that ink off of the plastic packaging so that I can make another card with it. And those colors just go together so well. I like it anyhow. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the blue, and I'm just going to put some down on the plastic sheet and just put the edge in it. So I didn't trust myself to put it like around the flowers. I felt like I would ruin the card because I tend to do that. I tend to keep adding stuff until it's just like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. So I just wanted a little bit of blue, so I just took the very edge of the top of the card and kind of like set it in there, not totally flat, just kind of flipped it back and forth just to get a little bit of color on that edge. And then I take that blue ink and put it on the, the extra card, I guess. Which I actually ended up liking the extra card more than I liked the Mother's Day card that I made. I like the Mother's Day card. I think I just wanted to do something fairly simple. And I think that it turned out fairly simple. So now I'm taking a piece of or not a piece, I'm taking the stamp. It's kind of got some graph lines on it. And I'm using the VersaFine Black, and I don't know if you can tell in this video, because when I do the voiceover I can't see it full screen, but it's very dark, so I tried the VersaFine in Sepia. And then for the third flower, I just tried a second generation stamping, using kind of it's got like a dandelion center. And so I stamped it off on a piece of paper first and then stamped the image. And it came out a little lighter than what I wanted. But I do go back in later with one of my Micron black pens and add a little more black to that to give it a little bit more detail. And then the stamp set comes with 2 stems. There's a longer stem and a shorter stem. And I'm going to use the longer stem, but I still have to stamp to make it all the way down to the bottom of the paper. And the stamp set comes with several different flowers and variations of what you can do. I used it pretty simply, I guess. I just used a little bit of color and a little bit of, there's little leaves that go with it. There's they almost look like bows. I'm not really sure what they are. And then there's things that you can put across the top of the flowers, but I didn't use any of that. And then since the stamping came out so dark, I just went over all of the flowers once again with the watercolor, just to make sure it was dark enough. And then the sentiment is a penny black stamp set, a little mini stamp set, and it says "We love you" on the outside, and then on the inside it's just going to say "Happy Mother's Day." And I looked through my whole stash and I couldn't find any Mother's Day stamps, and so Friday yesterday I went ahead and ordered some from scrapbook.com so that I can get this card made. And then I'm taking my white pen and just putting some detail on the flowers. And then after I'm done with this, I didn't want to use sequins really. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I went ahead and I put some white liquid pearls in the center of the round flower. And then once I've put all the details on the flowers, I'm going to go ahead and take my double-sided tape and adhere my panel to my card base. And my panel is Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning. Just the pre-cut. And then I'm taking some of the grass green Bombay ink and watering it down and using it as a watercolor on the stems. I just thought it needed something else, and I didn't want to do too much, like I didn't want to do sequins or anything super fancy because I wanted it to be simple. But that completes that card. And then the second card I make is the panel that was used with the excess ink left over from the first card, and I've just trimmed it down using a Cat Scrappiness wonky stitch die. Cat, isn't that what it's called? Cat Scrappiness. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get the name wrong. Cat Scrappiness, that is correct. And then I have this piece of scrap acetate with the white polka dots on it. And all I did was I took some white foam circles and put them behind some of the dots, not all of them, just enough to get it popped off the card a little bit. And then these pieces are with I believe it's a Sizzix die. I will leave a link below. And so I'm just putting the stems and the flowers on top of the acetate using my glitter glue. And then for the sentiment, I actually am using a sentiment that is, oh, and I also popped up the little circles with some foam. But the sentiment for this card, it just says hello. This sentiment is one of the freebies that scrapbook.com is giving away until Sunday. That's tomorrow, and as well as this stamp set, which is a little mini stamp set, but it's free with any purchase. So like I said, I mentioned this a lot because I am so happy that I can go down and pick it up. Scrapbook.com is like a mile away from me, and so if I order before a certain time, I can pick it up the same day. And so I was able to get these very quickly. So I got them yesterday. But with any purchase, if you're already going to make a purchase from scrapbook.com, don't forget to add these to your cart because they are free with any purchase. The die, I don't know if that's how the die is in, it's got 3 different letters, or it's broken up 3 different times, the H, and then the ELL, and then the O, which I don't understand that, but that is it for this card. And like I said, I think this was my favorite card out of the 2 cards. I think it turned out really pastel-y and pretty, which I like. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it or found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you already haven't done so and would like to, and I will catch you next time.